Just about done cutting up here. Just have probably 10-15 more acres along this canyon side. It's kind of a steep hill that we cut in between these two little canyons, which, I mean, it's hay. The guy that we cut for, he likes us to do it, so we'll do it, but it's not necessarily a fun hill to do haying on, because it is really steep down here. I don't know if you guys can see, but it goes down pretty good. So there's not much time to, you don't really have much room to mess around. So I probably won't video it much in here just to play it safe. But I'll try and show you guys how steep it is. And then I'll get to work. I don't know if I should be down in here. If that's a little too steep there, we will go around. There, that's a little bit better. But it is pretty up here. This canyon's real nice. It's actually the same canyon and creek that goes down by my grandparents' house, which is just right down here. So we're just above their place, maybe half a mile. You're bailing, you kick bales out. We've had them roll down the hill and take out his fences and stuff. He's got a little pond down here. We've had bales end up in the pond, and it's just the way it is, but whatever. So I know a lot of you have been wondering what's up with Poncho, the little colt I'm working on. To be honest, I haven't really made him a priority the last month or so, because we've been trying to get into our house, which we were actually able to move in just 2 days ago. So we've just spent our second night in our house. We got Poncho over here. I made him a little round pen and set up an electric fence for him. We introduced him to the electric fence. He's learning that he needs to respect it, stay away from it. So I'm gonna let him out now. Usually put him in here at night, and then I'll be working with him in here in this round pen. And then during the day he can go out here, graze. Got the water tank at the other end, and he can be in there. But yeah, we're really excited to be here at the house. Finally got it finished. This is the back of it. So we started it about a year ago, and now we're in it. So it's got two bedrooms on the main floor, and then the basement is going to be unfinished, which we'll just do that when time and funds allow. And we poured a slab for the garage, which that'll just get done whenever we get to it as well. So that's just fine. We got the house. We feel really blessed and excited to be in there. So all right, Poncho, go get some grass there, buddy. I'm hoping he doesn't just take off, run through this electric fence, which I don't think he would. He's pretty smart, but he's a pretty watchful horse. Won't be dumb, bud. Yeah, see, he knows what that electric fence is. Hopefully he'll just go walk the perimeter, know where his pen is, and be good. But I'm gonna keep an eye on him for just a couple minutes and make sure he doesn't get himself into any trouble. I think Poncho likes his new home. I think he likes it as much as we do. But he looks like he's gonna be just fine. Not gonna do anything dumb. So here's the back of our house. Just got a little bit of stuff. Gonna have to bring a bunch of dirt in here. That's our topsoil. Put that back down. Get some grass planted. Slab for the garage. One day, who knows when, which is fine. We're not in a hurry. We're pretty content. And then here's the front of the house. And the inside, there's not much, not gonna lie. We've got we don't have any couches or anything. We got a couple of lawn chairs right now for our couches, but that stuff can wait too. We'll get to it. But What are you doing, bud? He likes his pen, I guess. Went back in there. Wow, that's fine. He'll get used to it. So anyway, I'm gonna go spray some weeds. We're done cutting hay for a little while until third cutting alfalfa. And it's gonna feel good to get out and do some other stuff. But I do enjoy cutting hay. I finished cutting that steep hillside, which is actually right here. I think you guys can probably see that little piece we rent from that guy, like I mentioned before. Here's Crow Peak. I'm gonna go to this canyon right here. That's where we winter the bulls. If you guys can remember those videos from way back when, going up there, feeding them cake, breaking the ice off the water. I'm gonna go up there and spray some weeds. So I got the four-wheeler today. Yes, we call that place Jaques. It's actually where my great-great-uncle would have homesteaded, so he would have been up there, and my great-great-grandpa would have been down there. So the lumber that they got from the barn, they had a sawmill up there. They cut all their own lumber, brought it down to that big red barn down here. And yeah, so he had a sawmill up there that grew potatoes. There's a little spot called the potato patch I'll point out to you guys, which is where they grew potatoes and a bunch of produce for the miners that were here in the gold rush. So they would just grow a bunch of stuff and sell it to the miners, bring it over to Deadwood, or maybe the miners came to them. I'm sure the hills were just scattered with miners all over the place. There were tons of little towns back in those days that don't exist anymore, just a bunch of little ghost towns around. So if we can, we'll go around and see some of those when we're out and about, rounding up cows and spraying weeds, and I'll just point them out. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So we're gonna go up there, spray some weeds, and I'll show you guys around. So the main plant I'm spraying is this stuff right here. It's called St. John's wort. It is pretty destructive. It'll spread really fast. Since they did do some logging in here, it's pretty rough. Lots of trees growing. It's a good thing we got these brand new baby tires. I can go around almost everywhere, and anywhere I can't go around, I can get off and walk. That tree was a lot bigger than I thought. Probably early this spring when we had some good rains. Must have come down. It's a green tree. Must have got washed out. Came down the creek. So this big flat area right here is what we call the potato patch. So this is where my great uncle would have had his house, I believe, and his sawmill. So out in here, and it's called the potato patch, well, because they grew a lot of potatoes here. But they had a big garden, and like I said earlier, just sold a lot of potatoes and stuff to the miners. But it's pretty cool. We'll get a view up on top, looking back down. You can see the canyon and everything, so it's really pretty. But if you plan on watching the video with my grandpa doing the interview and stuff, now you'll know when he talks about the potato patch and Gabe's, that's this whole area, because I'm sure he'll be mentioning it quite a bit. Look like some elk tracks. Not much else, mostly just elk. Maybe a couple deer tracks. That's a deer track. These are elk. No mountain lions or bears. That's me. We are using Milestone and Escort. Just a couple ounces of each. This one isn't even open. And that seems to do the trick pretty good. These do have a residual as well, so they can kill the seeds in next year's plants, hopefully. And drive around a little bit, that gets mixed up. And we also put a splash of this stuff, which just helps the spray get into the plant and keeps it from drifting. This is pretty cool. I just sprayed these thistles like 2 hours ago. You can already see they're starting to curl and starting to dry up and die a little bit. So it's kind of neat, actually. Here's a pretty good example of how bad the St. John's wort can get. There's probably, in this little area, it's really bad. It's always been a problem area. So there's probably half a dozen patches like this that are just taken over. And honestly, that's a lot better than it has been in the past. So, yeah, all these yellow flowers will need to be sprayed. And there's a lot worse patches up in the hills further in the trees. So, I'll show you guys some of that when we get way up there, but this whole, it's kind of a peninsula in between the big canyon and there's a little canyon right here. But this whole area has patches like this, has St. John's wort spread out all around like this, and it's just really hard to stay on top of. But if you didn't spray it every year, this whole, there would be no grass in here. It'd all just be one big patch. So you gotta spray it. It's starting to get a little late in the day, so I decided I'm gonna head down, call it a day. But thank you guys for coming along today. Do really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video.